All right, guys, welcome to the Rouser World live stream. I'm so happy to have you guys here in the house with me today. Wow, let me move down some here on my paper because this morning I woke up and my stream key was actually working, so that was super duper awesome. Hold up, something looks kind of weird here. Just let me see if I can get this issue here. Uh, 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 uh. There we go. Okay, hold on one sec, guys. Here's Zoom, focus. This is good. It's not that. It seems to be more. Maybe it's not bright enough. Maybe. Hmm. Or if I turn up my gain, I don't know. Backlight. Oh, okay. So now it's just too light. Okay, there we go. Like something like that. Okay, I think we got a good picture right there. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. So let's go ahead and get into it. Want to today I'm going to be talking about how to do more, add more life to your caricatures. So let's get into it. I like to start with a quick warm up. So we're going to get our pencils out here. If you want to draw with me, go ahead and get your pencil out. And then let me see here. What was it exactly I was working on? Let me see here. Was that? Oh, there it is. Hold on. All right. So it was actually something I was working on last night. Anyway, this is my little sketchbook here. So my sketchbook don't look like everybody else's sketchbook. It's really just a what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, hold on a second. Let me make sure this is. Hold on. Hold what you got, friends. I just want to make sure that my microphone is enabled right there. Yes, it is. Okay, there we go. All right, I just wanted to be sure that I was just live. This way I don't have to use that. I could just hear the sound from there. Okay, so what was I doing last night or just this morning? Actually, it was on my phone that I was drawing this. I woke up this morning and I started thinking about hold up, let me see here, some emotions, and then I thought about hands too. But these are the ones that I was drawing as far as emotion. So let me put this away over here, and let's see what. I guess we can warm up on the back of this. All right, so I'm gonna warm up with a few head shapes first, and then we'll get into that. So we'll just. What I like to do is sometimes I'll take my paper, and I might make me a little line like this, right? And and I just start drawing faces. So this is kind of how I like to do it. I save all the fancy stuff for when I'm drawing live, right? But when I practice, it's very important to me that I know exactly what it is I'm doing. This way, uh, I can do, I can spice it up at work. You know what I mean? Like if I'm drawing this shape, I can spice it up and be like, uh, and all this stuff, right? So it looks like a head shape, but instead it's like this here. I guess you understand that. So I practice it. I practice fundamentals. You know what I mean? What can I do with these basic forward-facing head shapes? All right. If you want to know more about these head shape things, guys, go ahead and take a class with me. This is my warm up. This is not per se a class, but it is a me sharing some of my practice time with you. You know what I'm saying? So there you got some smaller shapes here. Now I'm gonna do some bigger shapes here. I'm gonna do some big round ones like this. So this one has like a little bit more of a round bottom on it. Okay. So a lot of drawing is really about muscle memory, and this develops muscle memory. You know what I mean? You might think that it's not going fast enough for you, or it's not being complicated. Let me move down some just a little bit more. Right there we go. Right, I just want y'all to be able to see real good there. Okay, let's put this here. Okay, and then we're gonna do some more here. So we got these are our what are these our I guess we can call them little mushrooms maybe, and then these ones like little bullets. Okay, let me see here. So let's keep going through. Let's see what else I can do with this mushroom shape. I could possibly make it big like this, right? Okay. So the first thing to add more life to your caricature is being more certain in what it is that you want to draw. And that's what this particular exercise develops. It takes you away from trying to be like so correct with every movement, right? Into and kind of transfers this idea into your subconscious. You know what I mean? This right here looks like a little piece of toast to me. So that's what I'm gonna put down here. Okay. So you know what this kind of reminds me of? It looks like if you go to a store, right, and you see like a whole bunch of vases in a window, and they're all different. And each one has a different price, right? But they're all the same. But these are also head shapes, right? Because I could take my head and I can say I could do something like this, right? And this is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be taking like expressions and putting them inside of these pictures. So what I do here is I'm just going to put a little circle, maybe a square here, maybe this shape here, maybe this shape here, right? And then I'm gonna put like little expressions in there. So I might go, right, this one might be this expression here. Okay. And this one might be a small expression here. Last night I was watching something. I can't remember what I was watching some kind of cartoon show last night, and I was paying attention to how they did their mouth shapes. It was really cool. And so these are like some different ones here, right? Okay. And then we can add like some hair to each one. So we can give this guy like mushroom, this guy like a spiky hairdo, right? This guy, he might have a curly hairdo, right? And this guy might have, let me see, maybe he just has on a hat. So he has a hat hairdo like this. Okay. So this is kind of how I do caricatures basically again, and so that I could get more accuracy when I'm drawing live. Okay, so I'm pretty warmed up now, so I'm gonna go ahead and go into what we're gonna be talking about today, which is gonna be more toward the side of adding more life. So if your caricatures all look the same, like they all have this look, and then you draw the next person and they look the absolute same. You know what I'm saying? Or some people might not have an expression. Theirs might look, all your characters look like this. Okay? That means that you're not venturing out You're not venturing out so that you can create more different types of emotion. Because at the end of the day, I feel like it's easier to draw multiple people using what ties them together in common than doing specific shapes. In other words, the face, when it's at rest, when your face is at rest, it tends to look a certain way. You know what I mean? And so, a very specific way. But when you do something like you're scared or angry or whatever like that, then what happens is that the face takes on a completely different. It takes on a different look, and that look is going to be more of a universal look between people. You know what I mean? When your face is trying to communicate something, it communicates what's common to most human beings. You get what I'm saying? So it's easier to draw what's common, a smile, laughter, something like that, versus trying to look at the person in their resting position where their eyes and stuff take a very specific position, and then it's going to put more of a strain on you to have to draw that position, if that makes sense to you. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull up a face first of all. How much paper do I have over here? My goodness. Did I draw? Oh, no, I didn't. I got, okay. These are my last night's drawings, right? Okay. Let me see. All right, so let's take these out. Okay. And, should I didn't cough like that? Okay, so let's see who we're going to pull up. We're going to go over here. And let's find a face we can work with here. Something easy. Maybe like this one. All right, so this is the face we're going to work with right here. Okay. All right, so how would I approach this face right here? Okay, well, let's draw it in a number of different ways. First of all, I'm going to do what her head shape is. Her head shape definitely looks like the mushroom to me. So I'm gonna do like a mushroom shape here. Okay. And then once I do the mushroom, then I can just add the pieces to her hair. Right? So you can't be scared. You just gotta go in there and do it, man. Right? So there's our mushroom shape, right? And then she has like a little bun right here. Okay? So keep everything simple, right? All right, now let's go ahead and get down. Let's go ahead and get to our face. So, what we want to do is we want to figure out what kind of expression we want for her. And so, over here, what I'll do is I'll pull up some expressions. I think I have some over here in my gallery. Let's see here. Here we go. Okay, so over here you'll see I have expressions, right? So what I do is I try to find one that I would like for her face. It doesn't matter necessarily what it is. Let's say if I wanted to do this one. Okay. Well, what I want to do is I want to draw these features kind of in the same formation as hers. So I'm looking at a bit of a triangle shape here. So I would want everything to kind of go about right here. Okay. Yeah, something like that. And then I'll just go ahead and put this face in there. So let's say this is the face I want right here. I can do like this. I can do like this, right? I can do like this, right? I can do like this, right? I'm just going to do this for you since her eyes are light colored. And I can give her some eyelashes, right? Okay. And then I'm going to use her nose, the specific shape of her nose, because that kind of never changes. So what we want to do here is we want to do a triangle, right? So the triangle kind of coming from here, and then it wraps around more like so, okay? And then we'll go ahead and we'll put our mouth shape here. So we're going to do this and this, and I'm just drawing this same exact shape right in here with her tongue right there. And then here you can see it has some little teardrops. So maybe she's laughing out loud, right? Okay. So here, right, we can see that we have a pretty good little cartoon of her, right? Let's just go ahead and color this piece in over here. Okay. All right. Hey guys, give me just a second real quick. I need to pull up I forgot. I thought that my comments would pull up here. Hold on a second. Let me go to let me go to hold on. Hold on a sec. I'm trying to figure out how I can. Okay, so here it is right here. And then what can I? Oh, okay. All right, guys. I was just trying to see where your comments were. I couldn't find the comments, so I needed to. Hold on. Let me see here. Okay. I was trying to make this pop out, but I can't. So okay. All right. So let's go ahead and continue, guys. So we're on her face. Just gonna make this a little bit smaller. The whole thing in general. Ah. It should have like a thing to make this chat pop out, didn't it? I just leave it like that, I guess. Okay, hold what you got, my friends. Okay. Everybody can, okay, you guys should be able to hear me now. All right, there we go. Okay, so and then here we can just put some lips on our shape if we want to at the bottom. But pretty much you can see that we drew her with a happy her happy kind of expression, right? So here she might be a happy person. It doesn't matter what she per se looks like in the picture as long as I can get my head shape right, my head shape right, and a few other things, but my head shape and the way that I'm putting the features in there. Okay. All right, let me see here. Let's draw her again, right? So again, she has a mushroom hair shape. So we'll come here with the mushroom, right? We can do an M like mushroom like shape, and then we can do like this. And then what can we do now? We can get her face in another way. So let's just say we want to put her face about right here. Okay. Well, let's say we want to do this expression here. So that's what we'll do here then is we'll go over here and we'll add our shape. This is like a straight like shape where there's no real what you call asymmetry or whatever between the those eyebrows themselves. Then I might go over here and be like, okay, one, right, two, right, okay. Now I know your logical mind is saying, well, it's not going to look like her if you do that, right? But that's not true because again, all I have to do is use her nose shape and place the features correctly, and then here we'll just do like this, okay. And we could put lips here if we want, right? Okay. So here we would have the same idea, right? So this would be her feeling another kind of way. I forgot to put her ear on that other one, but that's okay. Okay. You see? So it was easier to do when you don't have to think of what to draw. You just use these common everyday expressions, right, to draw their face, draw the caricatures' faces. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Butterfly. We can hear no chat showing though. Oh, you can hear. Oh, okay. No, well the chat's not showing. The chat is showing, but nobody's really commenting. But that's okay. I mean, I figure it's kind of early. I stream at a really weird time, so. All right, so let's go ahead and find another face real quick that we can work with and, just kind of do this process with. Here's another picture here. I think is really awesome. All right, we can see her face real. I think we can see it pretty good. Maybe I might want to let's save it and then save and then we'll just open it here. And maybe I can get her face to be a little bit bigger for you. Okay. All right, so let's see what we can do. All right, so with this face, we're going to first off go with let's go with I don't know, what we're going to do. She has a mushroom head too. Um, like a like a kind of a mushroom or more like well, kind of arrowy, but like maybe more like a heart, like a, yeah, yeah, yeah. What if I just said like this, right? And like this. It's a heart, right? A heart attached to an M, right? And then what's your next shape, right? And our ear shape. Remember, caricatures are not going to be anatomically correct all the time. You don't have to worry about that, all right? It's not a real big thing, right? Now we have, I see a shape that's kind of doing like this here, okay? And then it has like some hairs coming out over here, but something like that. And then she has like a little scrunchie here, and then she has some like a big puffy hair thingy here. Okay, so we want to keep it simple. Keep it simple. Okay. All right. Now let's go ahead and do uh, her features. So here I'm gonna go with something kind of happy like I did in the first one. So one, right? And then when her eyes are so small, hmm, you know what? I'm gonna do something like this, right? Right? And then I'm gonna come down like here. Oh wow, crazy. And I'm gonna do something like this, okay, to add to the drawing. So I'm following the facial rhythms, right? There's a rhythms to the face. And so when you figure out what those rhythms are, all of this gets a lot easier. Okay? And then we got our nose shape here, which is I'd say she definitely we want to do I think I would do a ball of the nose type of situation here. So I would want the ball of the nose and then the side of the nose here. Okay. Something like that, right? Okay. And then we can just do some huge gums here. Okay. Again, always keeping your shapes very simple. There's a lot of ways to draw a person, right? So this might be one way of expressing her, right? Okay. Um, let's see another way. Let's see here. Let's see as I was if I as I'm warming up. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go to my marker because I feel weird. I need to get this marker out going here. Okay, so watch this. Now we're gonna do it this way. Okay. I like to challenge myself to be able to get to the final result of my drawing no matter where I start in the drawing, right? Because that gives me more gives me more confidence, when I'm drawing stuff, you know what I mean? Okay. All right, let me see here. Something like that. Okay, and then we got the next shape. Okay. Okay. All right. Now let me see. I can't make a caricature for crap. Okay, hey man, sometime it happened like that. Horizon Black. What's going on, man? Yeah. You know what oh, you know what? There we go. Now that one's a little bit more definitely. Yeah, I'm starting to feel a little warmed up now. Okay. And then we have our mouse shape. So we'll just do something like this. Hmm. Something like this. Want her smile to be a little bit wider. Right? Put a mouse shape here. And just watching and learning. Right on, Horizon Black. How are you, man? No, thank you for coming out. Okay. There we go. Now these eyes have a lot more zip to them. It took me a minute to warm it up, but this one, I didn't like because of the way the eyes were. I don't know what I was thinking about right there, but you got to accept the good with the bad. You know, you got to accept the good with the bad. All right. Okay. Okay. Good shot. Good shot. Yeah. Sometimes you have a good drawing. Sometimes not so good. Right, and then we'll do our little shadows here. Okay, my timeouts keep my screen timeout keep. Actually, we don't need this for right now, so okay. And then we'll just go ahead and color this in. All right, and then we'll just put some more curls up there like this. Okay, and there you have it, right? So that's our drawing number one for the day. We're finally starting to warm up here just to giving you guys a little bit of insight on how I approach giving my characters a lot more life. I try to stick with a lot of smiling in the picture because you always look. You always here's a picture right here. You always look a little different when you smile. You know what I mean? So regardless to what's going on in their face, this guy right here, what I want to do is, I'm gonna draw some with this one. I don't know how I want to approach this. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think what I would do here, I can start from top to bottom. What stands out about this guy to me? Let me see here. I want to do it where I get the shape of the head first. So this will be like the front of my hat here. I want to establish that very quickly, right? Something like this, right? Something like that, right? There might be some lines in there or something I don't need, but something around that area. You know what I'm saying? You wanna find something. Now let's go ahead with this nose shape here. You know what? Actually, let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and smush everything to the center and make everything bushy in the inside here before we get to this big soft triangle shape here. That's going to kind of lead into our nose shape. But we don't want these shapes to be big. Not too big anyway. Right? Okay, something like that. Okay, and then you see here how you got the glasses going on here, and then you got this little piece of hair is coming out here. Old school got his hair going on. I may have to add another piece back here. See, when you're drawing, you can do stuff like that, right? Because when I get to the end of the drawing, if I see all those lines that were kind of unnecessary right there, so when I get to the end of my drawing, what I might do is add shadows like this, right? And so it kills everything that I did over there. You know what I mean? Like if it looks like it's out of place or whatever, you just kill it. You know what I mean? So you got to be thinking about that, as you're going through your drawings, right? Let me see here. All right, now let's do the this beard shape. So really, what it looks like to me is dude, it almost looks like what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know why I'm thinking of wings, like if something had some wings on it and it was just flying like this, right? You know what I mean? It has like some really big wings. That's what I'm thinking of. So when I think of wings, it gives me more action, I feel more understanding of what I'm drawing than if I look at it and say, well, I'm drawing a mustache, right? Well, that's boring, right? I'm drawing a mustache. Now, this guy right here, he doesn't really have a smile in this picture. But I can add one if I want. I can do like this, right? And that's the bottom of the mouth right there, right? So this might be his tongue shape right here, right? And then all we're doing is we're floating a chin, right? And then we're floating a shape kind of around it. So we want to keep that roundness, right? That roundness, almost like that mushroom shape. He has a mushroom shape. So we want, and I think the mushroom shape is kind of upside down. So we want it kind of like where it's gonna go from here, and then go down into his jacket right down here. So this would be where his collar and stuff is. So I would squeeze everything into that, and then I'll make this like his inspector jacket over here. And he had an ear over here. I didn't see it, so I messed that up. Okay, let me see how nobody's gonna know. Right there, right? Nobody's gonna know, right? Okay, now let's put some eyes in here, which you really can't see in this picture. But what I can do, since I can use shapes like these, right? Right. And again, everything doesn't have to be all anatomically right. You know what I'm saying? We'll go ahead and put some black in there like this. Add a bottom lip here. and then his chin shape, right? Okay, so it looked like we did a pretty good one right there. Yeah. Okay. Well, see, and if you leave out some things or some things don't look exactly like, don't worry about it. Like I said, people are going to be impressed by what you draw anyway, especially somebody that can't draw nothing. But these days, you got a lot of cheaters, man. You know what that is? People that draw with AI. Oh my gosh, our jobs are in trouble. They're just gonna have a robot sit down there and draw caricatures one day. I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna go over there and beat that robot up, and just hope that they haven't programmed them with jujitsu, right? Get up and you stop drawing and look at me and just get up and kick my behind. I've seen some of the things those robots can do. It's dangerous. Hey, thanks, Butterfly. What's going on? Thank you. Thank you. All right. All right, just real quick, guys, a little information for you fine folks this morning. I am a art uh, teacher, so I teach you how to draw caricatures. That's what I do. It's one of my many talents, right? So if you want to learn to draw a caricature, you can go to rouserworld.com/classes. All the information you need to know about drawing caricatures is there for you. Okay, that fell on the floor. I'll pick it up in a minute. All right, so you can get that information down. Secondly, if you guys want to join our Patreon family, we do have a Patreon page where I do have a lot of different lessons about drawing caricatures. If you guys are interested in learning more about caricatures, then let me see. Then you can always go here and check that out. And finally, guys, tips are appreciated if you feel like you're benefiting from what I'm showing you today. You're learning, right? Tips are awesome. Thank you so much. You can tip through Cash App, $Browser World. All right, so let's get back into it, guys. Let's find some more faces to draw, okay? The main thing with your caricature, guys, is to keep everything relatively simple. You don't want a lot of lines in your picture that don't count for anything, right? Let's go ahead and pick another face here. This guy here has an interesting face. So what I'm going to look at here is first of all, what does his head feel like to me as a cartoon? So I don't want anything too angly because if you make too many angles in the face, it can make the person look very old. So I try to stay away from a lot of hard angles in the face. So let's go ahead and grab a marker. My wife said all my markers are out of ink. I was like, what are you talking about? She never knows what she's talking about. All right, let's see what I'm gonna do here. All right, so again, let's start this picture from here. Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay. Okay, so right now I can do this because this is the part of the picture that stood out to me first. You don't necessarily have to start with your uh, with the features or anything like that. You just want to start where you feel comfortable with. Okay. Now let's go ahead here, and we're just going to make sure when we do these angles in the face that these angles are not hard. So I didn't go like and doom. You know what I'm saying? I kind of transitioned into them because transitional lines usually imply youth, right? But when you draw very hard lines are going to come across as very edgy. So you want to reserve those for characters like maybe Clint Eastwood. You get what I'm saying? Or somebody like Henry Cavill. Those kind of people are people that you want to exaggerate the curves in their face. Now, let's do this here. Let's assume, for cartoon's sake, right? What we're going to do is we're going to wrap around the eye. We're going to come down, right? And then we're going to do this here, and we're going to come around, right? So I did something a little bit unorthodox. So I'm going to take his eyebrow, right? Okay? And then what I'm going to do is have some skin over the top of it. Okay? And then I'm going to have my hat going literally behind that shape right there. Okay? So that when I draw this part, it looks like the hat, the eyebrows in front of the hat, right? So this is something that the picture is not telling me. So I have to think beyond the picture. I can't be trying to copy the person. I gotta think about them like what I want them to be doing or what I want them to be saying, right? All right, so now what I'll do is I'll go in here and we'll look at what we want our features, okay? So what I'm thinking of is something very chill. So I would, you know what I would want? I think, hmm, what can I do? You know what? I could use the bottom half of something like this, and then go over here, and I could go like curve the top, and then I'm gonna go with the eye shape here, the eye shape there. Okay, because I don't want my lines to compete. So I'm not going to put too many lines in the eyes. It's not going to mean anything. It's actually going to really destroy my drawing to do it that way. So now I'm going to do this nose shape here. I'm going to stick with something very full. I'm thinking maybe something very weighty, maybe something along these lines here. Okay. I don't even need the nostrils. I just want to do like a general shape without the nostrils because that's not going to really kill my likeness. You know what I'm saying? Again, this is just kind of thinking outside the box, right? Okay. We want that line to be a really big curve line. So here I might not curve my line in and then come out. I want to go straight down so I can maintain that curviness and that youthfulness in the bridge of the nose. Okay. All right, now we're going to go to the lips here. So this is what we can do here. We're going to do this. Okay, so I'm looking at the energy of the face again. Right, like that. Right. See, the object is to take out some of the features in the face so that the person doesn't look so realistic. So if you try this particular art form and you continue to try to copy every single line in the drawing, you're going to have a really hard time understanding how to do this type of art. Cannot copy everything in the picture. Okay, see how everything is has been stripped down to the bare minimum. Okay, and then we'll come over here and we can add our shoulders. Okay, uh, so it'll be something like this, and then this and this. Okay, all right, cool. So let's go ahead now and just shadow our drawing in just a little bit. Okay. So let me see here. Okay. Again, keep everything simple. One, two, right? This is going to help me to add some dimension to my drawing without again adding a lot of lines. Okay. All right, cool, cool. All right. Okay. Do 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 do. Okay. All right. Now, let me see here. So I think we're done with that one. So we'll go ahead and go to our next drawing. If you guys got any requests or anything like that, feel free to make a request. I will draw the person that you will. We can use them as our model. Okay. All right. Let me see. Let me go ahead and change up my playlist here. Do 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 do. All right. Let's see who we got next over here. Cap on that. All right, let me see. So let's use. We'll go back to. We'll go here. Okay, she's pretty, right? I've been wanting to make some canvases out of it. You know, I got some big canvases in my garage. I've been thinking about what I want to do with them. So now I'm like, man, I'm finna draw some giant caricatures of people, like interesting faces. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, just like that's what I like to do. So at first I was just like, I didn't want to waste the canvas. I was like, what can I do? What can I draw and sell it, right? And then I was just thinking, that's impossible to know. Those I'm not gonna even stress myself out with that. I'm just gonna go now. Let me see what kind of head shape we got here. Um, her head shape is definitely to me kind of what's that word I'm looking for? What is that? It's very angled. So I'm thinking of a one, two, three, four, five, six. One. Oh wow. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. One, two, three, four, five. Eight sides. One, two. Let me see something. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Interesting. So what shape would that be? Because this is this. All right. So that's one and two. So when I okay. So it would be something like this then. I'm just gonna go ahead and go for it. Here we go. Okay, again, I don't want to copy my drawing. I don't want to copy the drawing itself. So she has big bushy eyebrows, right? And then let's get her eyes in here. For those eyes, mm, I'm seeing a like almost. What's the name of those little leaves? That it's a maybe not even a leaf, but like a giant bird head, like a you know how birds' heads do something like this, right? They look like little commas. Ah, comma. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Comma. Okay. And then you got one over here like this. You see, like a comma, and then you got your eyes over here like this. See? And then we add the eyelashes here. Okay? It's like that, right? So we got some nice, funny, like whimsical, expressive eyes. Now we want to go. We have a little nose here, so we just really want to go with a shape that's little. So we want something that's little that does kind of like that, right? Something little, and then we got these lips that are kind of let's see how we want to do. What is the energy of this? The energy of this is going to be here. So I'm going to use a, okay, something like that. And then we'll just add some lip shapes here. She has full lips, but full more in the up and down way. You know what I'm saying? Instead of side to side. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now let's add the bottom of our face. So we talked about this being we're thinking about maybe a house type shape. Just forget it. Just go. Let's just go. Let me see. One, two. Okay. So I have some little earrings shapes in there. I'm gonna add my own little things to fix that up with. Okay. Now we get to the top of our shape, and what we want here is something kind of coney. So we want something coney like comes down like this. Okay. And that would be like the dead space in her forehead before we go to this hat shape. So let's go ahead and do some. Let's go ahead and do the neck and add a little bit of hair. Okay. And then when we draw the shape this way, we want to one, two, right? And then we add the front of this arm, and then we can add some hair here, right, like that. And then what we're gonna do is just gonna come over here and keep it kind of close toward the head. You don't want to make the hair too full or one side. Again, drawing like this is what does require that you make some decisions about your picture so that you don't continue to draw lifeless pictures just because you're trying to draw a portrait instead of drawing a cartoon, or having you're not having fun with it yet. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not having fun, then you're not doing it right. Okay. Yeah, I'll just put a little bit of hair right there. Now let's see if we can get this hat in here. So this hat looks like a basically we have to think about it like something laying on the head. Okay. And then we got this little pico right here. Okay. And I think that looks good. So we can just add some freckles lightly. Okay, again, I'm not trying to get all of the freckles in the exact right position. I'm not even looking at the picture anymore. I don't care. I saw what I need to do. So here I add some freckles, right? However I want to add them. Okay. And then pretty much that is the face, right? Okay. We can go ahead and shadow her in. We can color in the eyebrows or whatever. We can use our crayon here. I have plenty. I got another crayon here. I need to actually get a crayon sharpener. I used to have one, but now I don't know, man. All right. So anyway, I might do something like this, something like this. Just keep it simple. Something like this. Y'all excuse my kids. They are in the middle of the day. They're two brothers, so that's all I have to say, right? Two little boys. It means it's gonna be some buffoonery going on up in here, right? All right, there we go. And I don't know. I just did something. Put a little bit of color in the eyes there. Just using get your regular old crayon, man, and just color it in. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Right? Okay. Let's see here. Okay. I think that's it. Let's just go ahead and see if I can put some shadows with the same crayon. Okay. So there we go, guys. So we got picture numero tres, right? Real quick little cartoon of the young lady. All right. Let's see what time we got. 10:41. I started at 9:30, 10:30. So we're gonna be going into the word of the day here in just a little bit, guys. I got a few more drawings in me. I hope that you guys are learning. Again, if you want to take classes with me, don't forget to take classes at rouserworld.com/classes. You can take a class at with me. I'll teach you what I know about caricature if you want to learn, right? Get your little side hustle there. This is going to be our Patreon page if you want to check out more videos. You want more instructional stuff. You want to be instructed, right? You can go to our Patreon, sign up for a tier. I got a lot of videos over there that you guys can watch that kind of cover the basics of caricature. Also, you have some behind the scenes type of stuff. I haven't been really active here within the last week or two because just right. I'm sad because I can't even go to the gym because of this, right? Or I could. Maybe I'm just making an excuse, right? I don't know. All right, then finally, guys, tips are appreciated. If you guys feel like you're benefiting from the stream today, you want to tip, thank you so much, guys. That will go toward uh, this birthday party that I'm planning for this weekend coming up. So we're almost at our goal, guys. We started out at 500. Now we're like around. Somebody gave last time, so it was like now we're around like two something. But we're trying to raise 250 before the weekend. So if you guys want to help, you want to donate toward my 2 of my 4 year olds party this weekend, trying to earn a little cash for that. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you in advance. All right, so let's go ahead and go to our next drawing. Okay, let's put this over here. Man, we got some. We're getting pretty good now. We're getting nice and warmed up here, right? Okay. All right, let's put this here. Let's see what kind of face we can find. Okay. Let's see. Okay, let's go with what about let's find another face here. Let's see. That's funny. What about there's a lot of good faces on this one. I'm just looking for one that'll kind of challenge me a little bit. Do, 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 do. All right, what about this one? Looks pretty cool. Let me see. That's a cool picture. Let's save that picture and see if what we can do with it. All right, so we got a young person here. All right, so what are we gonna do? How are we gonna start off with this picture here? First of all, again by studying our head shape, I'm thinking about something like maybe like I don't know. Should I go with that shape? No, I don't think so. I need to go with something that's bigger up top, smaller on the bottom. So I think what I'm gonna do here, I can. I wonder if the bulbiness, if I go with a bulby, what if I go with a flower pot? Yeah, let me see. Flower pot. Uh, Something like this. This one right here is out of ink. Let me see. You got the shell nose. Let me see here. I'm gonna draw me a heart shape out here like this. A heart. This is a heart here. Okay. I don't know. Okay. Let's see with these eyes. I'm gonna go with something not too big, but kind of something like this. Hmm. Okay. I feel like I fed right into the energy of the face very well on this one. I was looking for it and I found it. Okay. And actually, but I think that's kind of cool actually that I did that. I'm trying to think what would I actually call this? Maybe like a what would I be? I'm thinking of a boom and this a mush. I don't know. I'm gonna show you another way I saw this. I'm gonna show it to you. I saw this in another way, and there's so many ways to draw a caricature. I guess I don't really want to beat a dead horse. I think it still looks cool because I kind of something about making the forehead kind of bigger. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Okay. Now I think I like it, right? But what I'm noticing, how do you add reflections on the glasses? What I do is I use a thinner line. So let's say I wanted to add this reflection here. I would use thin lines to kind of put reflections in them that kind of don't, you know what I mean? They don't look as now. One thing that don't look as they're not as heavy as the lines around the outside. If that makes sense. Now, what I was seeing with this picture, I like it, but something I think I went contrary. I think what I should have done was something like this. Okay, so you can see the outside and then you can see the inside. You see this head shape here was just a lot. It's a lot more. There we go, just like that. You see? Mm-hmm. Something like that. And then you have your nose shape somewhere around here. And then you have this. Keep it simple. Yeah. And then we add the nose shape here. And I might want to go with a thicker marker here. Okay. So something like this. You see what I'm saying? You see how much I misread the head shape on that one the first time. Yeah. Like I said, every drawing ain't gonna be on, no matter how good you are. You're gonna have some messed up drawings. You know what I mean? Something like that. Okay, now we'll just go ahead and put our eye shapes in there. Okay, so for what I'm gonna do here, you know what? Can I just do the triangles? I guess I can. Let me see. Or should I just do like this? No, I'm gonna do like this. Like a squeeze, almost like a Captain Kirk sign or something. There we go. Yeah, that one's a lot better. And you can put some reflections like this again. Okay. Okay. There you go. So we got the little. Now you see this one looks a lot better. I don't know what was going on with this other picture, but it doesn't seem. It seems like I tried too hard. All of this was like wrong. All of that up here, right? So the shape I should have went with, I didn't. I tried to get slick. I tried to do something. I second guessed my head shape, so I was thinking of something like this, right? But as you can see, that's pretty darn contrary to the head shape that's on this paper. So I can't do that. So I had to be thinking. So at that point, I need to be thinking something more like this, right? One, two, three, four, five, six. You know what I'm saying? Is what I need to be thinking like this. One, two, three, four, five, six. So I got a six-sided shape here, right? Or we can think of it like let's see what we want to call it. One, two, three, four, five. Okay, yeah, but make sure this is rounded. So yeah. Okay. All right, guys. So let me see here. I think we have it's 10:54. I think we have reached the our cartoon threshold for the day, right? I think hopefully you guys were able to learn a little something today. So let's just finish up and do our word of the day. And since we're on the youngsters, let's see who we're gonna get right here. Let's see here. What about oh, look at that face. That's a pretty face right there. I'm drawing her last. We're gonna say the last two spots for the kiddos, right? All right, now with this shape right here, okay, again, we we really want to do something very, I think, very similar. Wait a minute. Wait, let me think of something. Let me see something here. What we want is something where it's like this, but like this part is down here like that. You know what I'm saying? So kind of like a cat. You know what I mean? Like a cat has that little piece in there. You can do that with lips. So this would be what we kind of want here, right? So we really want like like a circle, right? That's the top of the head, right? Because you can see her afro puffs are here and here, right? Like a Mickey Mouse. But then over here, you can see that this is her. So if this was her, that then this would be her mouth area. You get what I'm saying? And then this would be where her ears go, right? And then here we can see this is just the cheeks and stuff. So her nose is going to be about right here, and her mouth is going to be about right here. And then her brows and everything will be on this shape. You get what I'm saying? And then we can go over here. We can say, maybe she's looking over there, right? So she's looking over there. So what we'll want to do is just do like this over there, right? And then you just bring it across, like so. You see? So this is the shape. This is how I build my shape together. And then you got your hair. You know what I'm saying? Coming out here, your hairline, all of that. You know what I'm saying? This is the shape that we predominantly want to look for. So, but drawing her in real life, anytime I have a three-quarter view, I try to stick to a mixture of inner and outer shapes at the same time. So I might go one. I'm gonna spread these out a little bit. One, two. This nose over here, and then I might do some lips that are like big like that, right? And then you have a little chin. See what I'm saying? And some glasses that are gonna be like up here. Okay. Something like that, right? Then you're just kind of hardening the shape out, right? Before you get to that ear shape. Okay. All right. Now let me see here. Let's do that hair. We got the eye shape there. So she got a round forehead. So we want to make this big too. So we want to do something that look like this, where it comes back in, right? Yeah. So it's always about finding where you want to start your drawing at. Where are you going to be able to get to the end result from it? For every picture, that's going to look different, right? For every picture, it's going to look different. All right, let me see here. Let's do our eye shapes here. She has a very chill look on her eyes. So what I want to do is I want to draw the top of her eyes first, like if they're in the closed position almost. Got to give me my perspective, like how big I want my eyes to go. This is a great trick. And then you can draw the top of the eye like this. See, so this is the top of the eye, right? But this is the bottom of the eye. So this is what we'll do. We'll do the bottom of the eye, right? So she's looking over here, and then she's looking over here. You see what I'm saying? Just like that. Okay. All right. And then we just kind of go up give the major angle of the eye. That's all we need. We don't really need to close the eye shape all the time. It can just be suggested. Sometimes that's more powerful than drawing the eye itself. Is the suggested shapes, right? Okay. Now, from there, you can see here we got our neck shape. And got this shape here. We will have this line here close and this, far away. This line kind of close, right? Okay, and then she got some little curlies back here. Okay. Okay, and this is absolutely my last one. I am so done. Okay. Do, do, okay, and there we have it, guys. So again, this one was like a mixture of an outside inside approach. Again, you just want to be in a position where you can make those decisions as you want to. You go along, you know. Okay. All right. There we go. Shadow this in. So just make one layer here first. Okay. Put your layer down here first. This is how you would do hair like this. And then once you do that, then you come back and you do your next pattern over the top. You see how it makes the hair look a little bit more realistic there. Yeah. Okay. Same thing here. Let's go ahead and color it in. And then I'll just put my second pattern here. Okay. And I think that Panda Baby. Hey, what's going on, Gordon? How are you today, man? What's going on? Okay, and then we can just add some shadows, some reflections, just something simple, not a whole bunch. Right. There we go. We got some reflections in the glasses now, right? Okay. All right, guys. So that is the last drawing of the day. Hold on a second. Oh man. Okay. Hold on. What you got, guys? So we're just gonna pause pause this music real quick. All right. Okay. Hey, thank Blake. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, guys, for coming out. So I'm going to go ahead, guys, and we're going to do our word of the day. So after every practice session, I like to share my devotional time with my friends here on social media. All right, because I feel like at the end of the day, what kind of I think that we need to give each other like things to be encouraged about. I think that there's a lot of negative stuff to talk about. I want to be a breath of fresh air when you come to social media, that you're not Oh my goodness! I think people, just um, I just I don't want to be engaged in that. I know for me it's very distressing. Sometimes it just seems like it's one bad story after the next. Every time you surf the web, it's you know, and so it's got some people stressed out. I was inspired to do this because you know I've always been a very people person. That was just how I was coming up. I always just liked people, and but to see like how I don't know how people have changed. Like it's not they're not having as much fun anymore. I mean, I guess I'm gonna put it like that. Right? People are not having fun anymore. It's like every people don't want to talk to each other, um, and so I know it can seem to be a lonely place. And when you get lonely, I don't know, you get discouraged. I know I do sometimes when you feel like you got to do everything by yourself. It seems like the work in front of you seems a lot more like you know. So I just like to share this devotional time with you, with the hopes that it'll encourage you. I know it always encourages me. Plus, it makes me have to read my Bible, right, at least 2 times a week. So it's really kind of a thing I did for myself as well. You know what I mean? To keep my mind sharp, and keep my minds on positive things, So I'm gonna go ahead and get out my devotional here, and then we're gonna go ahead and get started. Okay. So if we're gonna go over here to the book of Philippians. Okay. So you guys have never been to the New Testament before, opened the Bible ever in your life. All of those books are together. The Ephesians are all Ians, I call them, are all together, right? And excuse me, my head's a little sweaty there. Okay, all right. So let's put this. I guess I can put this down here. I really can't. Don't need to see it though. Okay. All right, guys. So today's word of the day is going to be setting an example. Setting an example. Join together in following my example. You know, setting an example. When I first heard that word, it made me think about like being a dad, right? Um, um, it's so many things on my mind about how my kids have changed me. I'm 53. I have 3 children that I'm raising. My fourth child is already grown and has her own kids. She's 30 years old, almost 30, and she has two. I have 2 grandkids, which is funny because my grandkids and my kids are the same age. Matter of fact, my son is my 2-year old is the youngest in the family, so it's like it's crazy. But when I think of being an example, I think about how um, when I was a little kid, that some things were not modeled in front of me. They may have been talked about, but they weren't modeled, and it was like I needed that direction and I needed that guidance, from my parents and those people around me. But I didn't have those examples. I didn't know how to take care of myself as a man. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't I wasn't coming up. I wasn't the most hygienic guy, or I wasn't the most planned guy. I spoke out of turn. I never thought about what I was going to say before I said it. I was I took, and let's not even get started on dating and girls and all that. I had no idea which way was up. I thought that I got hooked on pornography when I was very young. The first time I saw it when I think I may have been about 15, 16 years old, and it ruined my life. I ain't gonna lie, because it forever changed the way that I saw the opposite sex. But all these things set bad examples for me, not having leadership in that area. And so this is pointing out to me as a dad, like when I look at my sons now, that I need to be an example to them. I need to be when me and their mother we have a disagreement. The first thing I do is I look them right in their eyes, and I look at them, and the first thing I think is I'm on holy ground. This is a chance for you to set an example. So I'm in front of them. I'm upset inside about something that happened or whatever. The old me wants to come out. I want to lash out, but I look at them and I get my composure, and I either do one or two things. I'm going to say something to speak life into the situation, or I'm going to take time out and I'm not going to do it out of anger. I'm not going to storm out of the room or anything. I'm just going to say, yeah, and I understand that. I say, I'm just going to go outside for a minute, and then we'll talk about it when we're friends. When my sons do something incorrect, I don't beat them. See, when I was young, that's what happened. We grew up. If you grew up in the South, you know about getting a whooping all the time. That don't work. Right now, you have to understand what that leads to. Everything that's happening in this generation didn't just start with this generation. It was a generation before. It was my generation that started this. The songs talk about bad stuff and all that. No, Snoop Dogg and all the other guys that I came up with, they was talking about the same thing. Easy E, you know what I mean? They started it. And now they're mad because they didn't set an example for the children that are coming. And so today, I find that's what I think about as I think of this word, that I need to be an example to those that God brings across my path. I cannot save the world, but right now you're in my path. So I believe that in the end, God's going. You won't be able to stand before God. Now, none of us will be able to stand before God because all of us know, but we won't be able to stand and say, "Oh, nobody ever told me this." We can say, "I chose not to believe it," but we can't say that nobody didn't tell us, right? So I want to read this devotion and see what it's saying. It says in the book of Philippians, we're going to go to chapter 3 and verse 7. This is a really good book to read, actually, too. You guys might want to check it out whenever you got time. It's relatively short. It says, verse 17, um, man, God is good. Dear brothers and sisters, right? It says, pattern your lives after mine and learn from those who follow our example. Okay? Pattern your life. The other day I heard a video where a guy said, why, if God is God, why did he choose to have his son die so that we could have life, that we can inherit everlasting life, right? Why didn't he just snap his fingers and everything just be in order? Why did he have to do it that way? And as I was listening to this, I was looking at this person answer that question. I was like, how many times in my life I disagreed with a process. I mean, just heck, just being married is an example. I disagree sometimes with some of the things or some of the decisions because I'm a man and I have a choice to be able to believe what I want to believe, right? Because my wife might make a suggestion about this or do it that way, and then that suggestion that I didn't that I bucked the whole time. At the end of the day, was the way that it was just done, and not only was is it just the way that it's done, it's just the way that it's done, and it's just the way that it works, right? Just because you don't understand the way that it works doesn't mean you know that you shouldn't give it any credibility. And then second of all, I thought, man, He made us so He understands how we work, right? So Um, a lot of the times, what he did was he came to us in a way that we could understand. What did you want him to do? If he came down, if he made a, what other way was there going to be for it to be done? You know what I'm saying? We see examples of people and then we follow them. If you're wearing a pair of Jordan sneakers right now, guess what you did? You followed everybody else before you that got Jordans. You didn't just think of that by yourself. You saw them and somebody led you by example to buy those Jordans. You get what I'm saying? You didn't start just talking the way you talk right now. Believe me, you followed an example. You know how I know that's true? Because everything that you're doing was already here before you got here. So you didn't make nothing up. It's not original. You didn't make it up. You just followed a crowd. That's all you did. We're human beings and we're designed to work as a body. So, in order to set an example for us, right, about how to do this life. Not only was it an atonement for our sins, but it was an example of how he wanted us to live, to be forgiving of one another, to love one another, to pray for one another, to bless one another, to go all out for one another. That's what Jesus stands for to me. And that's what he did all throughout the Bible. Not one place in there did he do something against mankind. Only thing is that some just don't want to believe. And that's them. But now it says every man who seeks God is leading the way for others. So by me seeking God, I'm leading my children and my sons. You know, my sons, they get up and they say, thank you, God, for everything. When we go to sleep, I pray with them and I'll say, and we'll thank God for everything we have, for toys, for food, for provision, for health, for making things better, right? For working on something and knowing that He's going to come through. I teach them this. I'm leading my sons by an example so that when I'm gone and I close my eyes for the last time, I know that my sons ain't going to be lost. I didn't set them up for failure in the world because God's word has been faithful to me, and I know that it's going to be faithful to them. The question is, are you living up to the life in Christ in you, or are you slipping back into old patterns and habits? Are we setting examples, or are we just being, me and my brother talked about this the other day. People that have been going to church for 50 years, 60 years, 20 years, right? And they feel like they know everything about God because of how long they've been going to church. But during that entire 20 years, they never really had a relationship. They never had that true God experience. They got in the race, they got in the competition, they got in where they fit in, they got in an area where they were comfortable in the church and they stayed there. They never sought to change anything about themselves. Once they reached that level, it was done growth. So you just stayed in the same house for 20 years. You didn't move nowhere. You didn't go nowhere. You didn't learn nothing new. You didn't cultivate that relationship. So we can be slipping back into old patterns and habits, and we could be being a horrible example to those around us. So much of this is happening in our schools, right? Right? Where the teachers are being allowed to teach the children things that they shouldn't be taught in school. What are you talking about? We don't talk about, we here to talk about how to solve problems, right? Through academics, right? Because academics means solving is, by the very nature, solving those problems. Now it says Paul, which you guys knew in the Bible, Paul was one of the worst men that ever lived, but God used him to write 2/3 of the New Testament. Thank you, Jesus. That means it's hope for me, right? Paul knew his life was being watched. I know my life's being watched. His example matters. My example matters. Right now, you guys are here, and some of you have been following me for many years. My example matters. I'm not going to just do anything or say anything or be any kind of way to you because how I respond, my example matters. You know what I'm saying? When my kids, when I'm in front of them, everything that I do in public, how I talk to somebody, When they're standing right next to me, I call, sir, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. My sons are looking at me. You know what he says when he sees an older, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. You know what I'm saying? And guess what that's going to do? That's going to keep him from somebody shooting him because he just came out his mouth any kind of way because of his emotions. Okay? My example matters and your example matters. Your children, your friends, and the unbelievers who surround you every day are watching you too. Even the people that don't believe are looking for a way to say, I told you that God think those people in church are bad. And that's exactly what's happening because a lot of the people that are in church, they're going to church, but they've been there for 15 years, 20 years, but they stayed in the same exact place. And then here comes a new believer, right? But this believer that's been in church for 20 years has not understood this yet. That life is about a continuous growth cycle. You cannot stay in one spot too long or you're going to get hit by life. These people around us are all watching us. You might not think it's true, but it's true. Paul took that responsibility seriously. Just as a father and a husband and as an uncle, right? As a man of God, I take it seriously how people perceive me. So I no longer engage in certain types of laughter. I'm not going to laugh at certain things. It's just not funny. I'm not going to make fun of when somebody dies. That's a sign of who set an example around that person. They had a young man that was laughing at Mr. Kirk's death and stuff and making it a mockery of what happened to him. But I'm not upset at that young man because it's all a spiritual warfare. But what we can do is sit back and look at it and we can say that that young man learned how to respond from somebody taught him. They didn't teach him limitations. A lot of the time it's just straight up that a lot of us young men, we don't have no dad. We didn't have no daddy. And dads help us to regulate the emotional energy in our body. We don't just go around saying what we want to say. That's why men are good at doing and not really talking that much. You know what I'm saying? Now, you might not think it's true again, but Paul took that responsibly. We should. To be a good example, you ought to follow the example of others who are ahead of you on the path of spiritual growth. So many of us get older, right? I'm 53, right? And we think I can't receive from somebody else no more. I've reached the mountaintop. I've lived so long that I know everything. Everybody around me is is a moron and I am the smartest person on the planet. When you get to that, that is the sign that you have gone backwards. Because in order to be a good teacher, in order to be a good uh, person to lead, you must also be a follower, which is another thing, an example that Jesus set in the Bible, where he went to a place and though he saw himself as God, though he knew he was God, he was fully God and fully human at the same time, but though he knew that he was God, just imagine if you knew you were Superman and you knew that no prison on this earth and no person on this earth could do anything to you. You could completely take advantage of a whole situation because nobody could do nothing about it. And guess what Jesus said? He said, I see that as nothing to cling to. Instead, I will humble myself, right, to death, to being just a regular human being. And in fact, I'm going to die a criminal's death on the cross just so that I can save your life, just so I can be an example to you about how it's supposed to go. So now that, what does that inspire me to do as an example? It says to lay my life down for my children, lay my life down for my wife, all the way. Lay my life down for my friends. Lay my life down for my ministry and my church and you guys. It's not about what I want to do. It's about what I must do. And sometimes what we must do is not what we like, but we must. Keep your eyes on those who live as we do, it says in Philippians. You want success? not world success. I'm talking about you want joy, you want happiness. Follow, listen, it says here to follow those who live as we do in Paul in Philippians 3:17. Keep your eyes on those who live as we do. No matter what you do in life, if you want to be good at whatever it is, keep your eyes on the person that does that and does it well, and you will become like them. You will change. If you mimic them, you will get better. Moreover, it says you must have integrity. It isn't about putting your best foot forward or presenting a handsome veneer that hides the truth. In other words, it's not about faking that you're setting an example either. You got to watch your heart because your heart is ultimately the thing that God's going to be looking at. The reason why you did what you did. Are you being a good person? Are you setting an example because you're in politics and nobody will vote for you if you don't set a good example? Or are you doing it because I truly want to be a model of what I want the people in this country to look up to and say, you know what? If I could be like a person, I would want to be like this guy. Look at the respect, look at the integrity, look at the way this person talks and walks and the manners that they have. And inside of his heart, this person is doing it because they have true love for the people that are around them. My pastor said in church this weekend about when Jesus put the saliva in the eyes of the blind man and healed his sight. And he said at first the man could, when he did the first time, the man couldn't see all the way. When God touched his eyes, Jesus touched his eyes the first time, he couldn't see all the way the first time. He said he saw men as trees, right? Faint trees. So he saw them, to me, that metaphorically stood for he just saw men as something. He acknowledged that there's somebody here other than me, right? Kind of like that thought process. But then on the next time that it was done, right, his sight was completely restored where he could see everything as it is, right? He no longer saw trees, but he saw truly what the essence of the man was and what this person was, how they're wired, how they work, his understanding. It stands for illumination. Your mind was open to the fact that you're just here visiting, you're here temporarily, and you're going to leave here. And everybody that you know and everything that you have, you're going to have to leave it here because none of it meant anything in the first place. Not in the way you made it in your heart. It meant something only because God's glory, only because God said that you're a steward of these things and I'm telling you to take care of them. It didn't mean anything like as in, if I have a nice car, I can sleep with more women. If I have a nice house, I can impress more people. You know what I'm saying? If I have more money in the bank, I'm financially secure for the rest of my life. That's how human beings think. God doesn't care about that kind of stuff. Only human beings do. We think about things like that here on this earth. Okay? Now, in finishing up, it says how you handle your flaws and failures, things that you fall short in, that we fall short in, how you deal with challenges and difficulties, and how you respond to temptation are part of that example. So I must keep this in mind when I am being watched or when I am not being watched. How you can keep all this in line is, again, what is the condition of your heart? The condition of your heart. If your heart has been darkened, more than likely the smile that you wear on your face, you know, is not real. A lot of times people just smile just because they just have to, because it's socially correct to smile so that somebody doesn't do something to you. You just can't go up and say, most people they stay in line because they don't want to get in trouble, in other words. They don't stay in line thinking about other people. They don't not take advantage of other people because they really care about other people. They just don't want to go. They either too lazy to go through with all the steps, or they really just don't want to get in trouble. Genuinely, they don't want no smoke from nobody. So they just go along and they get along to get along. And that's not the kind of heart God wants. God wants the heart that says, I love these people. So we must, in front of people, when times get difficult, we should respond a certain way. When we are tempted, we should respond a certain way, right? I want to do this to this person. I want to take this. I want to steal this. I want to do this. And even though that thought comes, integrity is to say, no, because this is a bad example for other people. If I do drugs, the guy that's selling me the drugs is watching me. The people that I do drugs around is watching me because you ain't going to do, you get what I'm saying? All these things. The way that I look and present myself in public is disgraceful now. What kind of example am I setting to all the people watching my life after I do these drugs or while I buy these drugs? Ask those questions. In finishing here says, men of integrity are in short supply, so determined to be one. There are a lot of men out here today that have no integrity. They only care about one thing, themselves, what will pleasure them. And they will lie and cheat and steal and kill just in the name of selfishness. That really just made me think. This whole lesson today, this whole Bible study made me think of being an example. And what kind of example am I being? What kind of example are you being? Right? So, at the end of the day, we should just be mindful of that. And if we feel like we're falling short in that area, and I do sometimes too. We all fall short sometimes. We're not gonna have our best drawing every day. We're not gonna have our best like behavior every day. We're gonna mess up. But the thing is that God's a gracious God. He does forgive the repentant heart, the truly repentant. You know what I'm saying? If you're truly repentant, He does forgive, and you always have that option to leave that guy behind and say, you know what? There's another man, another person, another man, another woman, a version of me that I'm destined to be that I have not discovered yet. No matter how old you are, right? No matter how old you are, excuse me, guys. No matter how old you are, there's more. There's more. And the more you build your integrity, the more you walk in integrity, the more God is going to show you more about this other version of you that exists that is far superior than the one that you are today. Is there anything wrong with you today? No. But let me put it like this: a flower is beautiful when it is born, it's beautiful when it's been here a few weeks or a few months, and then it continues to grow and it continues to grow, and then it blossoms into something that's more beautiful than when it was born or even while it was growing. It blossoms to what it's supposed to be, and that's what God wants to do for you and for me. Okay, so just be a good example. All right, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I want to thank you guys for coming out to the live stream today. Just a few pieces of information for you before we leave. Again, if you would like to take a class with me, you can take classes at rouserworld.com/classes, and I'll teach you about caricature, right? You want to get into caricatures. Secondly, thank you guys for checking it. For our members here that are on Patreon, Gordon, thank you. I know you were on Patreon. I'm not sure if you're still on Patreon. Are you still on Patreon, Gordon? I know that you were a top tier at one time, but are you still in? Are you still a top tier? I don't. I think you're on like a second tier now or something. You have to let me know about that. But anyway, if you guys want to join our Patreon page, you can join Patreon, patreon.com/rouserworld. These are behind the scenes videos. about like what goes on behind the art desk, kind of a thing. And then also it has some videos and stuff there about drawing. It'll push you along in your caricature journey. And finally, guys, as I explained throughout the stream, I will be doing a birthday party for my 2-year-old and 4-year-old this weekend. We're about 200 and something dollars, like 225, away from our goal of to help fund that party. This is what I do for full time, so um, I just making a request out here to you guys if you guys would like to help us to be a good example, right, to my kids. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Um, Tips are awesome. You can tip at Cash App $ Rouser World. So again, thank you in advance for your blessing. All right. So other than that, guys, Father God, I just thank you for this time. I thank you for everyone here today. I pray for their families. I pray for them as individuals, Father God, and I pray that that we all heard your word and that we learn to walk in that word of being a better example, of being good examples, walk in the understanding that everyone and every thing around us is watching us, and we're learning from each other, Father God. So even if we think that no one is watching, that we should be aware that someone always is. So just help us, Father God, to walk in your strength and walk in your grace and walk in your blessing. Bless the rest of our day, and until we come together again in Jesus' name, amen. All right, guys, so y'all have a blessed night. I certainly appreciate you coming out, and I will see you guys in the next live stream, which will be on Saturday at 9:30 a.m. You guys be blessed. I'll see you next time.